Hey, welcome! Today I'm going to be showing you a few little techniques to help you with your building. Is your wall looking kind of bland? Something about it looks a bit different, like it needs a bit of something? Well, here's a little idea on what you could do to switch it up just a slightly bit more. First off, you could add a extra row of the same wood along the bottom. Now, along this wall, you can add something, for example, such as a window potentially, a window, and a little flower bed. Of course, you would add some flowers here, but if you still think it looks a bit bland, a little trick you can do is just go onto the search menu and scroll down until you see colors that align with it a bit more. For example, here's cobblestone. If you look around, there's some other colors such as stone. Here's, for example, stone. It's a bit smooth, so the contrast between these two are not that big, but depending on your build, you may not want to achieve other things such as this. Sometimes it's good to have a bit of a filler block. For example, these can be such things such as gravel. The contrast between these two colors are a bit, but it's not so big that it pops out immediately, allowing a bit more of a grain. Please keep in mind that some blocks like gravel do need gravity, so it will fall down if they have a supporting block. Now then, we just talked about having a wall such as these ones, a bit wider. But what if your wall is a bit tall and you decide to add a window? The answer is actually pretty simple. Just like before, we add some little details. Now we could do a very simple thing and just do something such as adding some trapdoors. Now these trapdoors, they are slightly out a bit more, and because Minecraft, which has done a very good job, is able to perceive depth pretty well, so it pushes it out a bit more and looks, maybe to some people's degree, a bit better. Now then, what if you have two walls on top of each other, and you have this long beam going through the middle of it? Well, if you have this long beam going through the middle of it, you're already on the right path. This beam in the middle kind of divides it up slightly. Now, some things you could potentially do is add things such as support beams along the corners to make it look a bit more supported. But if you do this, you're gonna have to add something else, as the fact that this lighter brown, all of this dark brown and gray, makes it stand out quite a lot. Some simple shelves can do the trick pretty well along the bottom. You can even add a bit more, potentially trapdoors, to help ease the way into the connection between these two. And also, this is optional, if you have a color such as this and it matches the other thing, for example in this case wood, quite well, if they have a sign, you can add a bit of signage towards the wall to add a bit more extra degree of depth. However, it really depends on whether or not this is your suit or your taste of building. Lastly, fences. Here is a little fence I decided to come up with pretty quickly. This fence is a bit more depth related, and I want to just say this with a lot more voice. I feel like a lot of people these days, when they show you like a different build or something you need to do, it says, oh, you have to do this or replace it with this or something. I want to remind you that when building, half of the fun is just being creative about it, not constantly following people around. Sure, following people around could be fun, but when you add your own creative little touch to it, it feels a bit different, if you know what I mean. This little fence, in case you do want to take it, because by all means, building is mainly built up of a lot of borrowing or taking or stealing other people's ideas. The way this fence is built is I went up by about three, leaving a 2 block gap between each of them. I went then broke the bottom of these and added some spruce logs. These are unstripped. Before going above, adding some packed mud walls, brick walls. Then I added a spruce stairs going into the middle of this one, and then before adding at the other side a fence. The cool thing about the fence is it causes the wall to go out just a little bit more, which, like I said before, Mojang does an amazing job of adding precision to this game. Then I topped it off with a couple of basic trapdoors before finally at the very top adding some spruce slabs. And there, done. This is the fence. It's quite literally finished. The great thing about this wall is it's very easily repeatable, meaning it can strand out pretty far. And then boom, now it's stretched out a little bit even more. The great things about simple designs such as the one I just designed is that it's highly repetitive and it's easy to copy. Alright, that's all we are going to do for today. Hope you enjoyed. And remember, being creative is all a part of this game. Subscribe, please.